gorillas.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God, my man Cess, and we got a special treat for you this evening for this segment. We got my man AC Clark, aka the new Al Haymon. He already knew that shit was coming.
I didn't know it was coming.
My man is a manager right now. He's up and coming. He manages fighters like James De La Rosa. His biggest win was against Alfredo Angulo. And he also manages another fighter by the name of Jerry Belamontes. He's fought my man, Miguel Vasquez, Omar Figueroa, different names like that. And he's got a lot of other fighters in his stable. So he's up and coming. He's on the show. He's going to give us his perspective on a lot of different things. The first 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to do a little questionnaire from my man AC Clark. Cess is going to spearhead that. And no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to my man.
Appreciate it, 2K. AC.
What's good, man?
What does that mean to you, man? When you hear the Next Al Haymon and you hear things like that, what does that mean to you? And for boxing.
Honestly, man, you know, I look at Al as a competitor. I mean, even though people say he's a promoter, man, he's a manager in my eyes, so he's a competitor of mine. So what he's done for the industry is great. You know, everybody's talking about boxing now. We got different movies coming out. It's flattering, but you know, I usually don't pay it any mind, man. I have my own name, and eventually, you know, that's what people will remember. So, you know, it's flattering to say the least, but he's a competitor of mine, so it don't mean that much to me.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, well, man, why don't you kind of try to paint us a picture real quick? How is life as a manager?
It's tough, man. Like dealing with athletes, period. I mean, I was dealing with NBA players before I crossed over to boxing. And, you know, you have these guys' livelihood in your hands. Like, they're expecting you to bring them big money, big opportunities to keep them active. So it's tough. And then being young in the industry, you know, I started at 24. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any contacts. So I had to work to really make connections, get people to trust me, get the promoters to know me, get the fighters to trust me. I had my work cut out for me, and I still do. Things are easier now, of course. But you know, it has its ups and downs, man. Like I sleep with my phone, I sleep with this laptop, because you just never know, you know, what these guys are getting into, what they need, or what's going on. And I'm available around the clock for my guys, and you know they take advantage of it. But it has its ups and downs, man. But I've been fortunate in this business for 6 years now, and I'm looking forward to the future, of course.
Nice. What made you come in to boxing? The way you've been in it, and the way we've kind of been seeing you on TV, man. It looks like you're going pretty hard with it. What made you make that? I don't want to say transition, but you know. I
think that's the right word to use.
Okay.
I fought in college in amateurs. You know, I started late. I was 21 when I started. Okay. Like, when I first went to the gym. And they put me in with this 15-year-old. We call him Pete, Pedro Guerrero, but will demolish this kid. I'm like, y'all put me in with a 15-year-old? Like,
nope.
Yeah, I got a lesson that day.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
That was my first start, and you know, I was mentoring the kids at the neighborhood center in Corpus while I was in school at Texas A&M down in Corpus Christi. They pushed me to really take advantage of getting the range to try it out. I did, man, and it was good to me. I took some ass whoopings. I gave some ass whoopings. I learned a lot about the industry inside the ring, and it took me to do my research outside the ring to see if I could, you know what I'm saying, be of assistance or service to these guys, and it panned out for me, man. That sacrifice, going in the ring, taking punishment, giving punishment, understanding the fighters why. It just drove my hunger to look to help these guys outside the ring. So that's what really drove me, man. I was in the ring. I took punches. I gave punches. I trained. I dieted. I know about that whole experience. So that was my reasoning for coming over to boxing, to really help these guys out, because they need it, man. They really need someone that's looking out for their best interests, and I think that's why I've gone so far so fast. Guys understand and believe that I have their best interests.
Nice. Yeah. Well, answer me this. After since Floyd is gone,
yeah,
how do you see the current landscape of boxing after I guess you could say after the Mayweather era?
Oh, it's gonna be great. Like, you got guys like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, and the list goes on. Charlo, Keith Thurman. Like, boxing is gonna be in good hands. Even when those guys leave, there's gonna be a new group of guys. It won't ever take the dip that it did. Once the heavyweight division pretty much crashed. Like, it's not gonna take that dip. These guys, we got some good up-and-coming guys. We got some great guys that are already established. And then we got guys that people haven't even heard of that are going to be the next best thing in the next 5 to 10 years. So the landscape of boxing is going to be great, man. I'm just trying to make my mark on it as it moves along.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You mentioned the name of a fighter that I think everybody is kind of looking at to be a pretty big fighter once he reaches that level, and that's Errol Spence Jr.
Oh yeah, man, that kid. I privilege of knowing him and watching him grow. I've been knowing him like before he went to the Olympics, and his work ethic is just out of this world. And that's what sets him apart from any other fighter. Like, nobody's gonna outwork that kid in the gym. And like, hearing about it is one thing, but actually going to the gym and actually watching him work. I picked him up from the airport one day, and he worked out at his house 41 minutes straight, no break in between. He did mitts for 20 minutes, and then he did 21 minutes on the heavy bag. The intensity was so high. There was nobody at it. It was me, Derek James, his coach, and his cousin. There was nobody there for him to show out in front of. The intensity of the workout was so high, man. It was mind-boggling, but you see why the kid is so great because of his workout. So he's going to definitely take over the sport. And then credit to his coach, Derek James, who's a former fighter himself. The knowledge, man, that Derek has, it's no secret, and it's no surprise or shocker that Errol Spence is looked at as one of the best. Now Charlo is with Derek James and Rob Brandt. Like, Derek has a lot of great guys, man. Errol Spence, to answer your question, Errol Spence he's next up for sure, and I don't see anybody beating that kid. Unless somebody clips him with a lucky punch, you're not beating that kid.
All right. What's one of his hidden traits in the ring that a lot of people may not notice about him, but he actually possesses this particular trait?
I can give you two that he don't get credit for, and really it's boxing 101, but nobody pays attention to it or actually does it. He keeps his jab pumping from the start of the fight to the end of the fight. It's always a strong jab, but then on top of that, he keeps his hands up. Like, you don't see everybody, to his credit, Floyd does the Philly shell style very well. He's perfected to fit him, but Errol Spence keeps his hands up the entire time, and a lot of boxers take losses or take a lot of punishment trying to emulate Floyd when they should be looking at Errol Spence, keeping his hands up on defense, blocking shots from left to right. So that's what I see in him. It's simple, but that's what stands out the most. He keeps his strong jab pumping, and he keeps his hands up on defense.
Can I jump in there real quick, Seth?
Oh, yeah, jump in.
Let me ask you, boss. They're talking about putting guys like Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman in the ring with Errol Spence right now. Do you think he's ready for those type of guys?
He beats everybody. He beats everybody on that list.
Today?
Yes, today. That fight was next month. Errol Spence would definitely beat all of those guys. No disrespect to any of those gentlemen. I mean, they're good fighters within themselves, but knowing what I know about Derrick James as a coach, and then Errol Spence inside the ring, and the work that he does outside the ring, Danny Garcia can't beat him. Danny Garcia, even though he's knocked out Amir Khan and a couple other guys,
that's not on his level.
But Danny's not going to be able to do anything to keep Errol Spence off of him.
Yeah.
You don't give Keith Thurman probably has the best shot because it's said that he punches hard, but you got to give. It takes more than one time to stop Errol Spence or keep him from coming forward. So none of those guys, in my mind, could do anything to keep EJ off their behind, man, and that's the difference in the fight.
Okay, go ahead, Seth. I just wanted to ask that one, boss.
All right. So, who's in the game right now? Who's really catching your eye? If you can name one guy aside from Errol Spence.
Yeah, besides Errol Spence.
Aside from Errol Spence, who's really got AC's eye right now?
I like what's my man name? The Jamaican kid.
Nicholas Walters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you. I'm very high on my man Nicholas the Axeman Walters.
Yeah, I'm so on him. I'm out of 1 to 10, I'm an 8 on Nicholas Walters, man.
8 is good. I mean, you saw what he did to Donaire. That should have jumped it up at least to about a 9.5.
Yeah.
He destroyed. I think you're gonna see Jason. He's fighting Jason Sosa on the co-main event of Luis Ortiz and Brian Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just experienced Jason Sosa because he knocked out my guy Jericho Montes in one round. But Jason Sosa is a great fighter. He's come forward. He's an exciting fighter. But watch how quickly Walters takes him apart. I see that fight being stopped probably within the first 6 rounds. The kid, Walters is just relentless, man. He's relentless, but he's also skilled and he's strong for that weight. Even though he's going up to 30, I like him, man. I would love to represent a guy like that.
Awesome.
I can say stuff like that because it's not the NBA. I can say I want to represent someone.
Yeah. Hey, there's no filter on this. There's no filter on this channel.
All right,
but AC, man, for all the young aspiring entrepreneurs and the guys that are just looking to make their footprints in the game, man, what would be some of the advice you would give those guys?
It's not what you know. It's who you know and who knows you. Mm-hmm. You have to grind. I mean, day and night, man. I can't tell you how many times I either didn't go to sleep or I missed out on a lot of things just in my personal life. Trying to pull everything together. So of course it's going to take sacrifice, but you have to know people in the industry. You can't. I get calls all the time. Guys saying they want to be in the industry, they want to be managers. And my first question is, okay, like who do you know? Are you tight with any promoters, or are you tight with a couple big fighters? You have to know somebody to get in, and then once you get in, it's the point of making people or having people trust you to set certain things up or to try to get them a fight or bring a fight together, man. So, it's sacrifice, of course, but you have to know people and they have to know you for you to really get started in this business. Otherwise, it's a pretty tight fraternity. It's a messy fraternity, but it's pretty tight fraternity, and it's an uphill battle, man, that it's really hard to get up if you don't know anybody and they don't know you. So you got to focus on that, and you have to sacrifice to get to a mainstream level.
Nice. Let me ask you about 2 fighters that I think a lot of people are very high on right now. One of which I am, the other I'm not.
Okay.
If I throw 2 names at you, Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev.
Okay.
We got 2 totally different weight classes, I understand that.
Right.
But what's your take on Gennady Golovkin first?
Let me get my ears ready.
I'll say this. I use this when I'm taking nothing away from him because, I mean, he demolished Gabe Rosado, who I feel is one of the toughest fighters inside the ring. I mean, Gabe has a lot of he's missing a lot of eye tissue. He's easily cut. So He brings a hard fight to you, but there's a lot that he's missing to really contend with high guys. But seeing him do that to Gabe, Curtis Stevens is another guy who's tough as nails, man, who Golovkin just totally ran through. Willie Monroe is tough, even though I think Willie Monroe took that fight way too young. And then David Lemieux, who I've watched in person work out and fight, even though I think he starts his punches a little bit too wide and too wild, of course. All tough guys, man. So you can't discredit Triple G because in my eyes, he's proven because he's beaten really good fighters. It may not be mainstream or household name fighters, but he's beaten guys that a lot of other guys at that weight class can't beat. So I tip my hat to him, and I think he's going to be really tough to beat in the division because it seems like even though you can touch him up a little bit, still people aren't giving him enough back to keep him off of their ass. And if you can't keep a come forward guy that's a power puncher off of your ass, you're going to have it's going to be a short night for you. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah.
If you can't keep him off of your ass. That's what I feel about Triple G. I think he's good. I wouldn't say that like he's gonna replace Mayweather or he's number one pound for pound. I'm not going that far.
Right.
But he's gonna be tough in that division. I don't see too many people beating him.
The only name I would take off of there that you put on there is Willie Monroe, because Willie Monroe got knocked out by Sean Porter in the amateurs. And he hasn't even been – he's still the same type of fighter he was as an amateur. He hasn't even improved that much.
Yeah, but I say winning tournaments and, putting together a string of 3 or 4 wins, that's not easy to do. So he wasn't ready for that fight. It was too much for him at one time. So I can see like you taking him off of that list. I wouldn't argue with that, but – he was there, and I mean, he tried to put on the show. It's just he didn't have enough power.
He did good.
He did solid.
I thought he did good. Yeah.
He did solid. Just couldn't keep Triple G off of his behind. So you know how that is. But I like Triple G.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in terms of Golovkin, you say short night in the ring, long night in the hospital.
Don't go to the hospital. Like you can't do anything to keep him off of you, man. I like the adjustment he made. Even though he's always thrown a strong jab, he really kept Lemieux at bay, at a distance with that jab, and that was the difference in the fight because Lemieux had to keep resetting. Like, he was looking to make it like this big brawl. And, Abel Sanchez, of course, is a pretty good trainer. He's a great trainer. The adjustment they made to continue throwing that jab out, man, and resetting Lemieux, that was the big difference in the fight.
So like I said, the jab always throws the pressure fighter's timing off. I mean, that keep a jab in his face, a pressure fighter doesn't know what to do next.
It's a tough adjustment to make, especially after 4 rounds. If you don't make a clean cut adjustment, man, it gets difficult, especially with stamina and you keep getting popped with shots. You're trying to get off, trying to cut the ring off. There's a lot that goes through the mental, and then the body has to react to it. It's tough after the 4th.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, man. Sergey the Crusher Kovalev. What do you think of this guy, man? Let me say this. I'm a big fan of Kovalev in the ring.
Okay.
In the ring, I'm a very big fan of Kovalev. I like him a lot. Andre Ward is another topic, but for the most part, I like Kovalev. What do you think about him?
See it as that I just met with Main Events a couple of days ago. I flew up to sit down with Kathy Duva, who is my wife, by the way. Nobody's cracked about Kathy Duva. That's my wife, so you know where my answer is going to get to. I love Kovalev. I love what they're doing with him. Not to get off topic, but you talk about promoters bringing up fighters. You think about Zab Judah's resurgence when, even though he lost to Amir Khan coming back, how they built him up to get to that point. Curtis Stevens pretty much came from nowhere, how he was promoted up to the Triple G fight. They do a great job of bringing guys seemingly from nowhere and putting them in positions to succeed. Even Brian Jennings, the plateau he's on right now, a lot of people don't even know he started like with Main Events. They put him on a show because someone pulled out, and he made his name from there. Yep. So those women do an amazing job promoting. And I'm not just saying that because she's my wife and that I love their company. I've dealt with them before, and I've watched them take fighters who weren't known, who no one even would think of, to make them into somebody. And they're doing that with Kovalev right now. I'll be able to better critique him after he fights Andre. I feel like this. Yeah, of course, fighters that you're put into the ring to beat, we expect you to beat them. I better judge you when it's a 50-50 fight. It can go either way. I see how you perform then. That's what makes great fighters. So when him and Andre decide to mix it up in 2016, I'll be able to better critique Kovalev, because seeing him against Bernard passed his prime, man. He was old. It was a good money fight for him, but I gotta see him against before I actually say, yeah, he's ready or nah, he's not ready. I like him, of course, but I want to see him in a tough battle before I actually give a good critique on that.
That's funny you just said that, because in a prior video, myself and Sess, that's what we were talking about with Triple G. The whole making things a challenge when 90% of the boxing world believes that the guy that you're getting ready to fight is going to lose to you by knockout, that's not perceived as a challenge. Right. What you just said, 50-50, maybe slight favorite, maybe even a slight underdog, that's perceived as a challenge. That's how we can actually critique these fighters the right way. Right. I don't want to get too much into Triple G, but what you said was identical to what we were saying about Triple G.
No, that's good to hear. It means we're all on the same page. Well, I'm not. We on the same. I'm not on the same page with Seth. So I can't be on the same. I heard what Jeremy Hall did to him in the ring. He fixed that situation. I'm not on the same.
One fight deal. That's all we need.
On the air. He got him on the air.
Nah, Jeremy is my dude. He's a good guy. I like him, but Good deal. No, but my last question. I kind of want to stay on the Kovalev and Golovkin. Who's the better boxer?
Oh, good question.
Oh. I'm trying to pick certain fights. I'm leaning towards Triple G.
Yeah, you gotta explain that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say Kovalev. Because Kathy and Jolene may get a hold of this. I think Kovalev is the better boxer than Triple G. Trying to explain it, because both of them are very skilled. They're both very skilled boxers. It's a tough one for me. I'm gonna have to stick with Kovalev, but as far as like breaking down different reasons, there's a whole lot of different reasons behind it. But I'm gonna have to stick with my guns and say Kovalev for now, until after I watch Andre Ward fight, and then I may switch up once we talk again. But I'm gonna go with Kovalev. I love you.
I think for me, I would have to pick Kovalev just based off the Bernard Hopkins fight. I mean, I know Bernard was 50 years old, but he was still beating young, hungry lions at that age. I mean, right before that, he had just beat Bebop Shumanov, who was the champion at that time. He outboxed a guy who is a great boxer and a great defensive technician, and he outboxed him from the outside. That's why I got to give it to Kovalev.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Let me jump in here real quick.
He kept his composure, man. I think if you let Bernard's tactics get in your head and you let them affect, then it changes the fight and it changes how you approach it. Because you're looking to shut him up or put him out. So you stop boxing and you continue, or you try to brawl with him, or you open up. He takes advantage from there. So composure, while Kovalev did a great job of not feeding into the nonsense. Even when like Bernard stuck his tongue out at one time, and
Yeah.
he came over the top with like a right hook or something like that.
Yep.
He kept his composure very well. So,
Absolutely.
but my bad, since I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's good, man. I just wanted to correct 2K, but Bernard was 150 years old.
Whatever works. Shit, whatever works.
No, but I like Kovalev, man. I'm pretty high on him. You know, like I said, Ward is another topic, but I think Kovalev is a very skilled fighter. I mean, both him and Gennady Golovkin, they've got the fundamentals down to a T. Yep. You know, and actually, me and 2K were talking about that on a video, and we were just telling some of the viewers that if you know the fundamentals and you know the ins and outs of the fundamentals of boxing, you can do a lot in the sport. You know, and I think another thing about Kovalev that I like about him is, and Golovkin as well, on the outside, they don't look as if they have the best defense, and they don't have the best defense.
Right.
But if you watch a lot of their fights, when they don't want to get hit clean, a lot of times they don't. You know, they have a very they have sort of a European style of defense. They're not you know, fireworks and, you know, the ooh and ah and the, you know, ducking. They don't do a lot of that, but a lot of times, man, the way that they roll punches and the way that they actually turn with the punches is something that I like about both guys. Right. Now, Golovkin, in my mind, I just need to see him against a top guy. Like you said earlier about Kovalev. Right. I really just want to see Golovkin against a top guy. You know, it's not that I hate him or anything like that. I just want to see if the power translates to the next level.
Well, when you say top guy for the 160 division, like who you talking about? Like,
we ain't talking about 160.
yeah. You know what?
That's exactly it.
I would like to see Golovkin move to 68.
Yeah.
I would like for him to make that move. He doesn't have to. But I don't want to see him make that move against a Carl Froch. You know, I just think mindset is everything in boxing, and when you got a guy that's retired. And I wouldn't want to see that fight. The fight that I would like to see for an introduction to the 168-pound division would be Sakio Bika. I think that would be a great fight for him to come into the division. You know.
Yeah, I like that. I forgot about Sakio. You're right.
Yeah. You know, Bika's not gonna go for a lot of Golovkin's. You know what he does well. He's not gonna let Golovkin just come at him and bully him and you know, corner him and things of that nature. Sakio Bika is the 168-pound version of Ricardo Mayorga. You know, he'll disrespect you in the ring. He's extremely dirty.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit. He's in there for a fight. He's a wild man.
Yeah.
So I would love that fight for Golovkin. You know, that would actually show me more than maybe his last 4 or 5. I'll say 4 opponents. So if he does to Bika what he does to the other guys, then you'll believe it at that point. I won't say I will be a believer, but he'll definitely spark my interest a lot.
What's gonna make you a believer then?
A level fighter.
If he no, let me tell you, yeah, that too. But if he were to go to 68 and he fought Bika and he beat Bika, I would like to see him against George Groves. You know, somebody that can actually move, somebody that can box. Now, I know Groves got knocked out by Froch, but I think we all can agree Froch is extremely established, man, and he's been in there with the best.
Right.
Now, the first fight is another topic, you know, but I would love to see him fight Badu Jack. I know 2K is not very high on Jack.
Not high on that dude, man.
I actually like him, man. He showed me something in the Groves fight and in the Durrell fight. You know,
he definitely he surprised me. I wasn't expecting that well of a performance. So
yeah, you know. So I'd even want to see Anthony fight Golovkin. You know, Anthony the Dog Durrell, man. I would love that fight for him. So the names are at 68. You know, I'm not gonna say he has to fight, you know, Ward, because Ward is out of the division and he's doing other things.
Right.
So the names are at 68. The footprint, you know, leave the footprints at 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I understand that part of it, but from a business side, just touch on that real fast.
Oh yeah.
Like you want the biggest fight in the sports sense.
Of course.
Well, yeah, you want Canelo, like whether it be
absolutely
Edgeweight or whatever. So yeah, those names, they would show fight fans kind of what they want to see, but from Golovkin's standpoint and his representatives, like, okay, those fights are cool if we can't get this big money fight. So,
well, I agree with that 100%. That's why he's calling out Carl Froch, Chavez Jr., guys like that. But for the fans, the hardcore boxing enthusiasts that want to see this guy in there with a style that can possibly trouble him, I want to see him fight Erislandy Lara. I want to see him fight Demetrius Andrade. Those are two guys that are getting ready to go to 160, and they're chasing Gennady Golovkin because they feel they have the goods to beat him. Demetrius Andrade, yes. I think Demetrius, he's 6'1", he has an 81-inch reach, he's southpaw, and he can switch stance, boxes behind a jab, has great footwork, great hand speed, and he has pop. I think he gives Gennady Golovkin that work. I really do.
Who has he been in with? I understand that it's namesake, but who has he been in with that's a come forward like power puncher that he's like totally like wiped out? I mean, he's a very skilled fighter, but
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think he wipes Gennady Golovkin. Now, I think he troubles Golovkin because Golovkin has yet to see that style as a professional. A lot of people say, well, he's fought a lot of guys in the amateurs. That's totally different. I was an amateur fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say my success in the amateurs will make me a world champion if I decided to go pro tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That doesn't matter. Right. So as a professional, he's yet to see a guy with that longer reach who's that smart in the ring, that IQ, and has that many tools in the ring. Can
you say the same thing about Demetrius?
Yeah, the only thing, you're right. So, and this is a little debate that I got into with somebody on one of the Facebook groups. He said the same thing. Demetrius hasn't fought anybody, but he wasn't looking at it from the other standpoint. Neither has Golovkin. So, of course, both of them, that fight is 50-50. But I feel that Demetrius will give him a lot of that work that we haven't seen no other fighter in the ring give to Golovkin. And to answer your question earlier, Vanes Martirosyan applied hell of a lot of pressure. He actually dropped Demetrius Andrade with his pressure. And Vanes is an A-level fighter, in my opinion, at 154. So
you said Vanes is A-level?
At 154. I think Vanes beats Canelo if they fought.
By what? By decision?
Well, I mean, if they rob him, yeah. You know what I'm saying? if they rob Vanes, I mean, but, you know, the same thing when we saw with Erislandy Lara. Lara beat Canelo, in my opinion. I had that fight 117-111 for Lara. And Levy Martinez had it the exact same scorecard, but for Canelo. So I think that if the judges weren't trying to rob anyone, I think Vanes could pull that out. Definitely.
Okay. Let me jump in here, guys. My last question to you, AC, is what does the future hold for AC?
Man, it's gonna continue just to work hard, man, and try to piece things together for my guys. As long as I'm getting them opportunities and big money, that's what it's about for me. So that question to be answered by the success of the guys that I manage. And when I say success, as a manager, my wins come when I get them opportunities on big cards. Oscar Mojica's fighting for the WBC super flyweight title on the Canelo Cotto undercard. Whether he wins or loses, like, it's a win for me to get a kid that weight on a card like that. He's from here in Dallas, Texas, man, but that's a win for me. So as long as my guys are getting big opportunities and I get to see them change their families' lives, like, that's as long as that's what I see to be my future as far as like me being successful. Looking at them and seeing them buy houses, buy the cars they want, buy their kids certain things or whatever, like, that's a win for me. So as long as I could change the fighters' lives, I win in that aspect. So that's my future, G.
Excellent.
Nice.
You got any more questions for him, Sess?
Nah, man. That wraps it up. You know, for me, I just want my one fight contract, like we discussed. You know,
I'm just saying, like, if Jeremy beats you, I want you.
Oh, he said, man, that's your whole purse, B. That means all that training, all that. You get nothing.
Man.
That's hilarious. All right, fellas. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I guess we'll do another video for the What's Hot segment. I don't know if AC Clark is going to be with us for that or not. But this was an excellent interview. We went over time. I loved how my man brought his perspective on the show. I want to thank my guests. I want to thank Sess for actually spearheading this for the first time. My man did very well. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section, but be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.